So thanks again for everyone for joining us today. Just for those who just missed the introduction, Kerry will be my facilitator on the call today, and we'll be keeping an eye on the chat and the Q&A for me for anything that comes in. I will be doing some natural kind of pauses throughout the session as well, just to make sure that we cover everything that does come in to the chat and Q&A, and some great interaction happening at the chat in the moment. So thank you guys, really, really good to understand where you are and where you come from, and perhaps your kind of experience of using LifeQI or the driver diagram and PDSA element of the platform so far. So this themed webinar today is going to focus on driver diagrams and PDSAs within LifeQI itself. So we're going to talk through how to create and explore and record your driver diagrams and your PDSAs. So hopefully a good refresher for some, and if not, a good introduction into how to do this within the platform, because these are two important quality improvement planning tools that we have embedded within the LifeQI system itself. So I'm going to take you through how to use them, and hopefully some key hints and tips to help you with your use of them through the platform as well. So what we're going to do is give you a quick overview and then actually dive into a driver diagram that I have created within the platform and talk you through some key elements of that. And then we'll go through the same within a PDSA, within a project as well. And then we'll make sure that we give some good time for some Q&As, because I imagine there's going to be quite a bit of interaction and some questions around this as well. Okay, first things first, just want to kind of direct you to our website here, which is lifeqisystem.com. So for anyone on the call that doesn't yet have a LifeQI account and you're brand new to the platform, all you need to do is come to the website here and click on sign up, and you'll go through our sign up process. For those that already have an account, you can obviously come here and click on login, and you'll be taken through to your start page. So this is where you kick off your introduction to LifeQI. Just in terms of navigation of our website, we have a wealth of information here to support you through your use of the system. So please do come in and take a look. And for those that don't know, LifeQI is based on the IHI model for improvement. So these tools are embedded into the platform to help guide you through your quality improvement project, of which driver diagram and your PDSAs are one of the biggest elements of that. I'd also like to direct your attention to our resources page on our website as well. So you can see here we have a fantastic blog. We've obviously got our webinars page, which is how you've come to be on this webinar today. But most importantly, our help center, which breaks down the system into loads of how-to guides on all the different elements. So if I just click into that now, what you'll see is you have all the different elements that we have within LifeQI, and then a summary of the articles that sit underneath that. So this is your go-to shop for any questions and queries that you have. Come here and take a look. Within these articles as well, we have a series of videos that you can look at and some GIFs to guide you through your use of the platform. But also, again, for those that don't know, we do have live chat throughout the system as well. So if you are in the platform and you are stuck on your driver diagram or something's not quite right, please do contact us and we will do our best to get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to log into LifeQI. I'm in a demo system at the moment. So when I log in, I'm directed to my start page. And again, many of you all already know this, and this is very familiar to you, but your start page is your landing page within LifeQI, and it gives quick links through to everything that you are part of. Just working through the navigation panel here, you can see we've got an area dedicated to projects, programs, your analytics area where all your dashboards are stored, any groups, people, and organizations. Okay, but the focus of today is obviously all around the driver diagram. You will need to create a project in order to create your driver diagram and your PDSA. So they are an element within the project itself. So if you haven't yet got a project created within LifeQI, but you want to kick off your driver diagram, all you need to do is come into the project area and click on Start a New Project and work through the setup wizard in order to create your project. And once you've done that, you'll be able to build out your driver diagram within the system. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump into one of my projects now to show you the driver diagram page. And so I've clicked into my project and we are now directed to our project general page. And again, just for a bit of a refresher in terms of navigation, all general pages for projects within LifeQI are structured the same. So you'll get this nice glance bar at the top, which gives you an overview of the project and where you are within that particular project. All of the details that you have set up for the project are sat below that. So we've got a key area for the title, the problem, the aim, if your project has been tagged with any particular keywords, or the priorities that align with your organisation. Everything in this section is changeable, so just click on edit and you will see all of the fields that you are able to amend. So without a doubt, obviously we're going to be focusing on the driver diagram element today. And as you can see of this particular project, the driver diagram has already been kicked off within this particular project. Okay, so if I click on the driver diagram page here, we are now taken through to our driver diagram within our project. And for those that don't know, driver diagrams are fantastic planning tools in quality improvement. They allow you to break down your goal into bite-sized chunks, so your primary drivers and then your more kind of specific secondary drivers, and then of course your change ideas, which will be your tests of change that you run through your PDSA cycles. We can see here this one is obviously created already, and this is one that is obviously a bit more advanced within the platform. But the elements of creating your own driver diagram remain exactly the same. So I'm just going to take you through a few key points here. Firstly, you can see we've got our primary drivers very clearly listed out. We have 3 primary drivers here, and then the secondary drivers that we've built out that align to those primary drivers. We then have the change ideas that we will be running our PDSAs from listed here as well. So our driver diagram setup is set up like this. So you've got the 3 columns, the primary, secondary, and change ideas. You don't have to add in change ideas if you don't want to. You can stop at your secondary drivers, but obviously through the model for improvement, the PDSA element is particularly important to test those changes. If I click on any of these drivers, you will see some more details around that particular primary driver. We can see here that there's a linked measure. I can offer up more of a description if I wanted to. I can click on edit and make any changes to that. And you can also see that this particular primary driver has been color coded. To color code your driver diagrams, all you need to do is, you can see we've predetermined ours here. We've got in progress, we've got delayed, we've got complete. These fields are completely customizable. You can rag rate your drivers if you wanted to, which is sometimes quite common with our customers, or you can just very simply label them primary, second, and change ideas just so you get those colors and it's a bit easier to visually describe your driver diagram. To make any changes to your driver diagram, or even just to kick it off in the first instance, you'll need to be in edit mode. So if I click on edit here on the top right hand of the page, you will then see that the driver diagram becomes changeable. Okay, so we can see here I can add in some more drivers. I'm going to show you how to do that now. So to add in a new primary driver, all you do is click on the plus sign from the aim, and you can see it's put a new field here for me. So I'm going to keep this quite basic for today. So I've got primary driver 1, and then I now want to link that to its secondary driver. So I click on the plus sign of that one. And then lastly, I am now going to build out my change idea as a result of creating that secondary driver. Click on the section here. And again, apologies. You are then able to list them out. Okay. In terms of color coding, we've got some predetermined colors already set up on this driver diagram, as I mentioned, so I can come in and I can color code that accordingly. If for whatever reason the color of the text can be quite hard to read on some of our driver dia box colors, you are able to edit the color of the text, to have black text, or you can have white text. Sometimes having the black text when you are exporting the driver diagram is a little bit easier in terms of the presentation of the driver diagram to be able to view the text that's in there, but it completely depends on the color of the box behind it. If you want to add or remove any colors from your driver diagram, again, whilst in the edit mode, click on manage colors, and you can see here, you can pick a color and then you can label it. So I'm just going to put in, and then you click on done, and you can see that that color is now available for you to be picked. Okay, so that's how you can color code your driver diagram. Just going back to the creation of it. So obviously you work left to right on a driver diagram. So you start with your primary drivers, you build out your secondary drivers, and then you build out your change ideas. We know that driver diagrams evolve over time, okay? Throughout the nature of quality improvement, they will change and they will become more advanced over time. This may also mean that you need to interlink different drivers. So what I mean by that is, for example, if this change idea is also linked to the secondary driver that we have just created, all you need to do is click on the pin of the first driver box and then the pin of the second one. And you can see LifeQI will very, very simply pull those links together. So I'll just do that again to show you. So internal reporting is also linked to this primary driver. You just link them across. And then all you do is any changes that you make to your driver diagram, please make sure you save them. It is worth noting that the system has a 30-minute lockout. If you haven't made any changes while you're in edit mode, the system will lock you out, all right? So just please make sure that you save any changes to your driver diagram. It's really, really important. So you can see now I've clicked on save and my new drivers that I've added have been added to the bottom of the driver diagram here. A couple of other things that you can do. If I click on edit again, you can delete anything, obviously, that you need to as well. So if I click on delete of that change idea, it will also delete any PDSAs that are linked as well. So just worth bearing that in mind. So you are able to do that. And again, with the primary drivers, you'll get a little alert to say, are you sure you want to do this before you do that? So you are able to do that. And also what we have on the top of each of them, you can see you can drag and drop the drivers if you wanted to. So you can change the order of them if you wish. Okay, perfect. A couple of other things on our driver diagram page. I've seen some huge driver diagrams within the platform. So by clicking on the expand button here, what you are able to do is work on a version of the driver diagram that's slightly larger, so it's on a pop-out, just so that you can see a little bit more of the driver diagram that you are working on. Also, a fantastic tool that we have within this particular page is the ability to be able to view the history of the driver diagram. As I mentioned previously, these will naturally evolve over time throughout the maturity of a quality improvement project. This means you can refer back to a retrospective version of the driver diagram. This can be helpful, especially if you are a coach or a mentor on this particular project. It means you can understand the thinking and how your team have got to where they are now within the evolution of your quality improvement project. So I can see all these changes that have been made. In fact, there's been 568 changes to this particular driver diagram over time. So you can see how much it's grown. You can see who made those changes out of the project team. And if you click onto any of them, it will take you to that version of the driver diagram. So again, you can start to see, okay, Jason made that change 6 days ago. Where are we now? And this is the version that I've added in those new drivers at the bottom there. So a really, really helpful audit trail of, as I say, the evolution of the driver diagram within your particular project. Lastly, within the driver diagram is the ability to export it off the platform. Okay, so once you've built it in LifeQI, this means that you don't need to build it anywhere else. You can take this off the platform. All you need to do is click in to your driver diagram page, click on actions, and then you have the ability here to export the driver diagram, and that will take it off the platform as a PDF that you can then save and you can use, which I've seen in posters, in slide decks, in reports, or any presentations that you have. I've also known a few nurses that have put them on their ward boards within the hospital so that everyone can see kind of the project that they're working on and their thinking behind it and what PDSAs they're going to be running. So it really helps to bring everyone together to really understand the aim of the QI project. Another way to report on your project and the driver diagram is to click on the report section when you are on your project general page, and you will see a version of reports that you have access to run. So by default, I know that you'll have the overview project report or the detailed project report in your system because they are there by default for all platforms. So what this will do is give you the key information for your QI project. So again, it means that you don't have to create a report outside of the platform. You can very, very easily pull all of that information direct from LifeQI into a PDF report that you can then take off LifeQI And it may be that you use that as part of your PDR, your PDP as part of your organisation, or again, you want to kind of share your successes of your quality improvement project and all of the thinking that's gone behind it. You're able to take that information off the platform. What we can also see on a few of these drivers here is linked measures. So these are measures that are happening aligned to that specific secondary driver. And we can also see on the change ideas section here, any linked PDSA ramps, okay? So what that means is for the introduction of new beds, we have a PDSA ramp that is happening that is directly aligned to that change idea. So it really allows you to have that high level overview of everything that's happening, all of the activity that's happening in line with your overview driver diagram of your QI project. Also worth noting, when in edit mode, you can change the aim of your QI project. The aim is pulled through from your project general page, but you can have the ability to customize it here as well, so that you don't need to click back to the general page of the project. You can do it all in one place. When you're on each of the pages within your project, you will have a Get Help link at the top. This is throughout every single page within Live QI, not just the driver diagram, the PDSA section. If you click on driver diagrams here, that will take you straight through to the Help Centre, all about driver diagrams. So it's all there for you at just a click of a button. We are there to help you. So you're not alone, and it gives you some great hints and tips about understanding driver diagrams, why they're such good tools for planning, and then it will take you through everything I've just done. So editing and deleting, color coding, creating your drivers, your change ideas, and then linking drivers and change ideas to multiple drivers. So it just allows you to recap on everything I've just said. Okay, I'm going to pause there, Kerry, and just see if you've got any questions that have come through that you need me to answer.
Hi, Erica. No questions at the moment, but do feel free to either put them in the chat or in the Q&A. We do have a good number of people on today, so do feel free to start to filter those questions through if you'd like, but feel free to carry on for the moment. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Just wanted to quickly show you the difference between a much more populated general project page compared to a project page that's much more in its infancy. Just before we jump onto PDSAs, this is really, really helpful. Again, if you are working within your organisation and your collaborative to really want to understand how far along the projects are within their life cycle, just by looking at the project glance bar here, you'll get a really, really good indication of where that project is. And it may be, for example, that you are coaching a particular project, but you note that it hasn't moved on for a certain period of time. So it allows you to have that conversation starter with the team to support them. Or perhaps they've got so many measures and charts and quite a few PDSA cycles. You just want to go in and check what they're doing and understand that their project progress score is a true reflection of the activity, the work that's happening at that individual kind of team level. So as I say here, this one is quite an advanced quality improvement project, and I can see that because the driver diagram is evolved. We've got 8 measures and 12 charts that are sitting within this project. We've got 5 PDSA ramps and 9 cycles, and our project progress score is scoring a 4.5. Just to reflect on this score before I go any further, we follow the 10-point IHI project progress score throughout all of our projects within the platform. And it's a really, really great indication of where the project is within its life cycle. By default, every project in Life QI will start at a 0.5, which is the intent to participate, with the aim to move further up the scale. Not necessarily saying that you need to reach 4.5 or 5 to be able to complete your project. Even just coming into these areas, you are demonstrating improvement, and that's fantastic. The aim of this is to make sure that the activity that's happening underneath the project is a true reflection of the score, because in all cases, the score is the first thing that a lot of people see. And also in terms of the analytics and the reporting side of the system, the score is one of the most important elements that will pull through to your dashboards. So it's really important that the score is a true reflection of the activity that is happening within the project itself. So you can see for each of the scores, we've got a title and then we've got a description underneath it. So it's just about making sure that the score matches where you are, okay? So just make sure that that is, you come in and you click on the score that you feel that you are now at, and then you click on change score, and that will happen immediately on your project page. So as I say, this one's much more further along within its life cycle. If I just click on one that's more in its infancy, you can instantly see the difference just by looking at the glance bar here. So we have the project score at 1.5. You can see an overview of what the driver diagram looks at the moment. We've got one measure and two charts. And in line with the model for improvement, the system's given me a nice little prompt that the next step I need to do is to add PDSAs to start testing out my change ideas. So that is the next thing that we're going to look to do.
Erica, sorry, just to interrupt you there, but I do have a couple of questions that have just filtered in through with regards to driver diagrams. So I don't know if this is a good time.
Yeah, go for it.
To cover those.
Back. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So we have started our driver diagram of a PDF. Will this save on LifeQI, or should I be opening up LifeQI every time we do the work on our driver diagram?
So in terms of, if you're working on a driver diagram that's obviously outside of LifeQI, I would encourage you to put it into the platform. And yes, every time you are updating it, be doing it in the system itself to making sure that the system is up to date and a true and accurate record, apologies, of the driver diagram. If for any reason you have created one outside the system and don't want to manually add it into LifeQI, what you can do within all the projects, there'll be a folder area. So you can upload anything that you've created outside of the system into your project so that everyone has the access and the visibility of anything that you've done outside of the platform. But in terms of adding your driver diagram in, you will need to manually build that out within your project itself. Okay.
Thank you. Next question. Does the platform have the capacity to assess readiness for change?
Is that in terms of the IHI project progress score? Be good to have a little bit more information on that question if possible. I think that's from
No
ITSA,
worries.
isn't it?
I will go back on that question.
Thank you.
After making the driver diagram, where should we enter the data for analysis?
Yeah, so in terms of the data itself that you will be recording over time, that will all come into our measures and charts section here. So I won't be going into the measures and charts section on this particular webinar, but this is where you come in, you create your measures and you add in your data to your charts here. And this is where you can start looking at the data over time. Is the process that you are monitoring showing improvement, or is it not? And then within the charts itself, you can log the PDSAs that you run so that you can really understand when you're running those PDSAs, what effect is that having on the data that you are recording. So that's all in the measures and charts area. So jump onto our help center and check out the measures and charts page, or we've also got a webinar that will be coming up soon regarding measures and charts.
Sorry, just a quick one that came back in. So with regards to the previous question about the assess readiness for change, just a bit more update on that, which was one of the matrix of successive change is readiness for the team. In this case will be micro and meso level. It is in relation to Health Foundation QI and implementation in research ORCA.
Okay, thank you. So that sounds like it's something that's done outside of LifeQI. So coming into LifeQI is all about adding in your quality improvement project that you have decided that you're going to do, or as a result of audit, you're going to be running this quality improvement project to improve that system or that process. So it sounds like that might be the stage before in terms of, as you say, assessing that readiness for change within either the system or the process or the team. But maybe we could take that offline, Itzy, and I can understand a little bit more about the research that you have identified there, and then we can talk through that. Okay, that's fine. If you want to leave your email address with Kerry, Itzy, we can take that forward. Okay,
that's fantastic.
Perfect. Anything else?
No, I think that's it for now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, so next thing, as I say, is kicking off our PDSA cycles. So our plan, do, study, act cycles, and within LifeQI, you have the ability to create these out and run a series of cycles within the system linked to your change ideas on your driver diagram. So I'm just going to take you through to a populated project so that you can see how they look when they are built out, and then I'll take you through creating one as well. So LiveQI has a very logical way of running your PDSA cycles, and it allows you to document all the changes that you are making in order to achieve your desired aim or objective of your ramp and cycle. Just a couple of things in terms of terminology, which do sometimes catch a few people out. So the change ideas are listed on your driver diagram. They are the drivers that are linked to your secondary drivers, okay? And then the PDSA ramp is a collection of cycles. So you can see here for this particular PDSA ramp, we have 3 cycles that sit within it, 2 of which have been completed, and the 3rd of which we are in the planning stage. So every time you fill in the plan, the do, the study, or the act, the quadrants then are completed. So it gives you a great way to track how far along you are within that particular process. So I'm going to open this one up just as an example to show you the form. So when you create a PDSA ramp, you are asked for the plan of your PDSA. So it's very, very clear. We need your title, your aim, if your PDSA links to a change idea. If for any reason it doesn't, and you want to do a quick test of change that isn't directly linked to your driver diagram, you are able to do that. Just leave the change idea box blank. We then give you a section here to fully define your overview or your notes, just to add in some more information. So the more information you can add in, the better. And that is best practice throughout all elements of LifeQI. Really, really helpful to add in as much possible information as possible so that your project team are fully briefed on everything. And then the more defined those elements are, the easier it is to go through with the PDSA. We then have a section here for your prediction. And then this one here, we've then got linked measures, and this will pull through any of the measures that are on your project already. And again, a really, really great way to track the changes that you are making and what effect is that having on the data that you are collecting. Are you showing an improvement through running these changes, or are you not? And that allows you to understand what are you going to do differently next time you run that PDSA cycle. What I'm going to do is, you can see this cycle is, we're currently on our 3rd cycle. Okay, so this is, we filled out the plan section. The next bit is for us to fill in the do, the study, and the act. And if I click on edit, you will see the fields that then become changeable. This is where, if I was coming in, I've planned it, I've now actually run this PDSA, so I want to write down what happened when I ran it. How does that compare to my prediction that I set up here on the plan? And what are we going to do next? Okay, so what small thing are you now going to change in order to run your next cycle of your PDSA? So what I will do is, I'm just going to refer back to a previous cycle just to show you how to do that. Because again, if you're part of a project team and you can see that there's been a few cycles run since you last logged in, or again, you're a coach and you want to support your team and understand how they're doing, you can refer back to any of the cycles at any point in time. Just click on actions, previous cycles, and it will list them out here. So I'm going to click back to number 1. I just want to reflect back on what we did in number 1. So we can see here again, we've got the plan. And then if we scroll down to the do, the study, and the act, you can understand the actions that we now need to do in order to run the next cycle. So it provides a very standardized way of running a PDSA within LifeQI. It's very easy to run them, it's very logical to run them, and it allows you to add in as much information as you need or as little information as you need, but in order for you to continue to your next cycle. Just going back to the PDSA list here before I go on to tasks, is you can have as many cycles as you want within a PDSA ramp. There's no limit on those. I've seen some with 20 cycles and I've seen some with 2. It all depends on your overarching aim and what you're looking to achieve. And also don't forget that through the PDSA process, you are continuously planning and testing new changes. So it is an ongoing process. If you manage to achieve your goal in the first one, fantastic, but the likelihood is you will keep changing something until you reach your desired aim, and they are small bite-sized changes in order to achieve your aim. Just coming back into the PDSA page here, we have a great project management aspect within the PDSA section of LifeQI. And what I mean by that is, if I click on tasks, you will see here where you can assign the cycle to someone within your project team. If I click on edit and the who section, This will pull through everyone that is a member of the quality improvement project. So it allows you to highlight who is taking charge of this PDSA cycle or who is responsible for this PDSA cycle. So you can put a name to that particular PDSA. You've then obviously got a calendar date selector here where you can highlight when this is taking place and also where. So it could be that it's happening on a specific ward within the hospital. And again, you can narrow that down. Another element that we have is the task function. This is where you can list out different elements of the PDSAs that you need to achieve in order to get to your desired result. So it could be that you need some questionnaires printed off to be able to hand out. You need to run a focus group within the project team, anything like that. You can add a task just by very simply, I'm just going to put in. And then you can add in a note section, who is responsible for that task, the due date, and the location. Very simply add that in. And then once that's completed, you can see, you can change that box to a tick and you can mark that one off. So again, it gives you a great way to log everything that needs to be done in order to achieve the PDSA that you are looking to run. So that's an overview of PDSAs, but to create your PDSA ramp, all you do when you are first kicking this section off within your project is click on New PDSA Ramp. And just like many other elements that we have within Life UI, you have a chart with a wizard here that you will take you through the step-by-step process to be able to create those. And keep an eye out for our tooltips throughout all of the platform. Okay, these are on every single page that we have, and we'll give you some information about what to put into that particular area here. So again, for the objective, we're looking to give it a specific focus, have it specific to the cycle, and we've got some points here to consider when defining your objective. So these are all through the platform. And again, you can link your project, your PDSA, apologies, to your change idea that are listed on your driver diagram. If the PDSA isn't linked to the change idea, just leave that box blank. It's not mandatory, you can do that. If I click in the drop down field here, you will see it automatically pulls through all of the change ideas that are listed on my driver diagram. So that's all there for you. And then very simply, all you do is work through the pop out and complete the creation of your PDSA ramp. And then you're able to kick off your PDSA cycles within the project itself. Again, at the top of our PDSA page, we have a Get Help link, which will take you through understanding your PDSA cycles and planning a PDSA cycles, and also how to create a new PDSA ramp and ramping an existing PDSA cycle. So what that means is you've created one cycle, you now want to move on to your next one. We call that ramping. So it's a great way to take you through that in more detail. Kerry, I've got a couple of things to run through. We just want to see if there's any questions around PDSAs within the chat so far.
No questions at the moment, but do feel free to start filtering those questions through if you have any on PDSAs, and we can have a look at those. But feel free to continue, and I'll just sort of drop you a nod when we do have some.
Great, thank you. Perfect. So a couple of other things just to know. Obviously, the more PDSA ramps and cycles that you add in would be a natural point to come back and again, make sure that the project progress score is a true reflection of the changes and the activity that is happening within the project itself. Okay, so do come in and just make sure that that's up to date. Also, just to know, in line with the model for improvement, the first thing to create is obviously your driver diagram, then your measures, and then your PDSAs. So the glance bar will give you hints and tips on what you should be doing next if this is the first project that you have created. Just one other thing in terms of the navigation of a project that you may find particularly helpful is this bar on the right-hand side here. The first section is the membership, so I'm not going to go through that, but this is everyone that's listed as a member on this particular quality improvement project. This section here is the timeline, and this is a fantastic audit trail of all of the activity that's taking place within this quality improvement project. This will list every time a new measure is added, every time a new person has been added, every time the score has been changed, and also when a new PDSA has been added. So it just gives you a quick overview of the activity within a project, or perhaps even the inactivity within the project. If this particular project had stalled, you can come back and understand when was the last thing that was updated within this QI project. So a really, really great way to track activity. What you can also do is add to the timeline. So it could be you've had a team huddle where you've discussed the next PDSA cycle or so on within this particular quality improvement project. You could log that as a status update on your timeline. So again, you can start to keep everything up to date and really understand everything that's happening to support you with achieving your aim of your QI project. So I'm going to add in a status update here. I'm just going to put in a note. And then click on create event, and you can see that's logged that there. Okay, so really, really helpful just to keep everything in one place and track that activity. And you can also view on a calendar month on month how the project is progressing. So please do check that out as well. Okay, just one other snippet of information that I wanted to give you today, and I'm sure Kerry will post the link in just a second, but just referring back to our website is our blog page. So we have a number of different areas on our blog that you can come in and have a look at. And again, you can see here, top of the list is PDSA cycles and everything around it. So we've got some great, great articles around all elements of quality improvement within our blog. So please do come in and have a look at those. And you can see we've got quite a few recently around PDSAs, so it would be worth coming in and having a review of those to see if they support you with your quality improvement work. But that's everything that I wanted to take you through today. So I hope you found that helpful. And if you're new to the system, I hope you found that as a great overview. And if not, I hope that was quite a nice refresher for you just to give you some more hints and tips about how to create your driver diagrams, run through your driver diagrams, and then also the PDSA elements within the platform itself. So I'm going to pause there and just see if there's any questions. I'm aware that was quite a whistle-stop tour, so I do apologise, but really wanted to spend some time to see if there are any questions or queries that have come through.
Okay, I think everybody's okay, actually. There's no more questions. Just to let everybody know, I've popped in a link to an improvement resources page, which is actually really useful. There are some free downloads in there that cover a lot of different elements of quality improvement, so it might be really useful for you to have a look at those. But that's it, I think. That's it.
Perfect, thank you everyone. So I'm finishing about 6 minutes early, so I hope that's okay, but hopefully get a bit of time back this afternoon or this morning, depending on where you're joining us from. But keep an eye out for our next webinar. There'll be a couple more coming up over towards the end of the month and December. But as ever, if you need us, use the live chat, check out our help centre, or please do email us at the help team as well. We're here to help you. Perfect. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good rest of the day.